Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day, and today the Baltimore Ravens have claimed Diontae Johnson, one-time Pro Bowler. Diontae Johnson is going back to Baltimore. It's been one crazy ride for Diontae Johnson. Was with Pittsburgh, got traded to Carolina, then got traded from Carolina to Baltimore because Carolina was looking to cash in on Diontae Johnson's good play, and they were selling at the trade deadline. So then he goes to Baltimore, doesn't get much playing time, has some behavior issues at Baltimore, locker room issues, refused to play at some point, which I think was against the Eagles. They decide to cut him. He then goes to the Texans, claimed by the Texans, and then going to Houston, plays one game against the Titans in the regular season series finale, gets 4 targets, 2 receptions, and 12 receiving yards. Then going into the playoffs, he gets some playing time, has 1 catch in the game against the Chargers for 12 yards on a long third down and long, which was a big catch for the Texans in the game because they were trying to get in field goal range, and the Texans were at like the 30-something yard line, and Farrenbarn probably would have made it from there anyways, but Diontae Johnson's catch gave Farrenbarn a much easier field goal to give the Texans a 7-point lead when the Texans made it 16-9. And there were a lot of routes that Diontae Johnson ran throughout the game where he was wide open and C.J. Stroud didn't throw the ball to him, and he was really upset. And I don't blame him for being upset about that. That is something I think a lot of guys would be upset about. But here's where the problem comes. The Texans didn't lose this game. The Texans won by 20 points. If you lose the game, I actually don't blame you for, getting upset in the locker room if the team lost in the playoffs and that's the way that, they went out and he felt like he should have been targeted. But they didn't lose. They won. The Texans won a playoff game. And in that situation, sure, maybe you're excited, you're upset you didn't get targeted, but you don't you celebrate the playoff win and you move on. And that's not what Diontae Johnson did. Players were celebrating in the locker room, and Diontae Johnson tried to stop those celebrations and got into it with some of his teammates, and that's why the Texans cut him. What he should have done was, I don't blame him for trying to express that he was upset, that he wasn't targeted. What he should have done is let the players celebrate, let his teammates celebrate with his teammates, and then midweek, preparing for the Kansas City Chiefs in the division round, should talk to C.J. Stroud, should talk to the coaches and say, "Hey, can we try to get me the ball? Hey, CJ, I was open on all these routes. There was a lot of routes that he was open. CJ didn't throw the ball to him. There are so many better ways to handle that situation than getting into it with your teammates when they're celebrating because of a playoff win. You can go over in meetings with CJ or the coaches to try to fix that going into the playoff game, and it's really unfortunate that he had to try to make it about him in the team celebration, and I really think that there are a lot of better ways to handle that in a situation like that, and he might still be on this team if he did it like that, but he didn't, and that's why he's not going to play again this season. Yes, the Ravens are still in the playoffs. They're going to play the Bills. Maybe they get to the AFC Championship game. Sure. But Diontae Johnson cannot join them until after the Super Bowl, meaning that he is not playing for the Ravens no matter where they end their season, whether it's a loss on Sunday against the Bills, whether it's a loss against the Chiefs or Texans in the AFC Championship game, or it's a loss in the Super Bowl, or it's a win in the Super Bowl. So no matter where their season ends, Diontae Johnson is not playing again. Now, if you're wondering why would the Ravens do this if he's not going to play at all, now the reason they did this was because they get a draft pick if Diontae Johnson leaves in free agency, which is kind of smart. So that's a smart thing by the Ravens. But the thing I'd be concerned about, I don't think he can't play with the team until after the Super Bowl, but I don't think he can join their locker room. I don't think the draft pick is worth it if he joins the locker room, because what we've learned with him in Pittsburgh and I don't think we've learned it a lot with his time in Carolina. I don't think they got rid of him because of his attitude. I think they got rid of him just because they were selling. But what we've learned with him in his time with Pittsburgh, his first stint in Baltimore, and his time in Houston, is he's all about him, and he cares more about himself than the team. That's someone that that's not a good asset to a football team. If you want to be a good football team, this Ravens team is a good football team, and they don't need selfishness on their team. Even if the guy's not going to play and he's only going to be in the locker room, which I don't think he can even join the locker room, which would be a great thing for this Ravens team because this Ravens locker room at the stage they're in right now, playing a big game in Buffalo, trying to extend their season and get Lamar Jackson to his first Super Bowl. You don't want that in the locker room. So, let me know your thoughts on Diontae Johnson ending up back in Baltimore. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.